Hey there, Wanderers. It's Allie. I am coming to you from Nebraska. I am here for family stuff, so I'm hanging out in Nebraska, recording in my upstairs guest bedroom. You will likely hear cats, semis, and other farm-like noises as I record this. But I recently watched a couple of disaster movies, and I wanted to talk about them. The first one I wanted to talk about is Cloudy Mountain, which is a Chinese film. I watched it on Viki, which highly recommend getting Viki if you don't already have it, because you can watch TV and movies for, like, Asian TV and movies from everywhere, and it's fucking amazing. But I watched Cloudy Mountain, which came out in 2021, and it's a action drama. It's about 2 hours long, so it's like a nice classical action adventure natural disaster movie. Very much gave me like Dante's Peak volcano vibes from back in the day. But the movie is about a father and son that team up to attempt to save a town after it's hit by a series of natural disasters, like landslides, earthquakes, flooding, all of the fun things. And they end up getting trapped in an underground cave, and the dad is kind of an asshole. But he and his son reconcile towards the end of it. But it's got pretty good ratings. It's got like a 9.7 out of 10 on Viki, 82% on Fandango, 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb. And again, it's like a classical disaster movie where you have the main character, who's played by Zhao Yinglong, I think is how you say his name. And he's been in a bunch of stuff. He's actually a actor that I really like. And he and his girlfriend are geologists, maybe, of a kind. They're blasting through a mountain to build a tunnel for, I think, like a high-speed train of sorts. And of course, that is like the main focus of the movie, is they want to save this railway that they've been building for like 10 years. So you have that conflict of, do you save like the town, or do you save this railway that people have been working on for decades? And they save the town, which, good on them. And he gets separated from his girlfriend, who's also like a geologist person, and she ends up with his dad, trapped underground. And I don't know, there's like a lot of trauma between the dad and the son, and the kids. The son's mother died when he was very young because the dad wasn't there, because he was like doing railway stuff. They're both climbers and like outdoorsy folk, so that comes into play. I don't know. Overall, I just really enjoyed the movie. I know it doesn't sound like it. I'm under the weather today. Well, since being in Nebraska, I'm allergic to this entire state, I think. But I did really enjoy this movie. I actually have watched it twice now, and will probably watch it again, because it is just like very nostalgic in its action adventure traditional disaster movie way of being. I will say there are times when the CGI is great and times when the CGI is really bad. When his dad dies, I feel like they literally had the dad, lay on just a green screen and just lay flat, and then they green screened in like clouds around him. and he like salutes as he falls through the clouds, and it's quite hilarious. It's supposed to be touching, but just because it's so poorly done, it's so funny. It's hard not to laugh. So there are moments where the CGI is just absolute shit. But they did have the actors, I think, do a lot of their like own stunts, like the underwater stuff and the rock climbing and all of that. And that pays off for sure. But I do highly recommend Cloudy Mountain, which I think it has another name as well. Like it might be a Cloudy Mountain Infinite something. I'm not quite sure. I think it just depends on like where you find it. But yeah, like a piece of the trivia is, so the lead actor and the guy that plays his father, did intensive training by rock climbing, like for days, like for an entire month before filming, and did diving and all of that. So they went through some like hardcore training for this, which again I think really pays off. You can tell that they're doing their own stunts and everything. So definitely check that out. I do think you can get it in other places like other than Viki. But again, if you're looking for a good place to find Chinese, Korean, Japanese movies, just go to Viki. It'll save you some time. And then since being home, I have watched Moonfall, which is a 2022 film that I had been putting off to watch because I actually wanted to watch it with friend of the pod, Katie, who, because I thought it looked so bad that it was going to be good, in the way that like Geostorm is. And I watched it because my younger brother, who I'm staying with, is a big fan of it, and he enjoys like conspiracy theories about like the moon, and like has done like research into like the science behind like mega structures and how that all works, which is way over my head. So anyways, he wanted to show me Moonfall, so we watched it. And Moonfall, the description is, the world stands on the brink of annihilation when a mysterious force knocks the moon from its orbit and sends it hurtling toward a collision course with Earth. With only weeks before impact, NASA executive Joe Fowler teams up with a man from her past and a conspiracy theorist for an impossible mission into space to save humanity. And this came out in February of this year, and it stars Halle Berry, Patrick Wilson, John Bradley, Michael Pena, Charlie Plummer, Kelly Yo, and Donald Sutherland, which was a surprise. I thought Donald Sutherland was dead, but I guess maybe not. I don't know. I could look it up, but I'm not going to. But Moonfall has a 37% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 41% on Metarctic, and a 5.2 out of 10 on IMDb. So it's about 50% of people that watch it like it. And it's, again, I feel like a very classic play on a disaster movie, right? Like you're getting what you got from like Armageddon back in the day. It sticks to that formula. And it actually is the same thing as with Cloudy Mountain. There were like moments of really awesome CGI and the moments of just absolute terrible CGI, and you could tell like where they tried to save money, and then they were like, okay, we're gonna spend more of our money on like space CGI rather than like things blowing up on Earth CGI. So you could tell where they, I think, tried to like cut the budget a little. But but it was an interesting plot, with the moon being a mega structure and there being aliens and all of that. I don't know the science behind all of it, like how mega structures are powered, but again, my younger brother was like super into that, and which was cool. It was fun listening to him tell me about that type of stuff. But the movie's 2 hours long, and they spend the first, honestly, like hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, like leading up to them going to the moon. And then they jam pack the last like 20 minutes with all this information about like aliens and structures and all this stuff. And I feel like they could have gotten to that quicker and given us like a bit more of that than just the last like 20 minutes. Cause, sorry, breaking up a cat fight. So yeah, definitely feel like they could have done a bit more there and breaking that up. I did like Patrick Wilson as the main character. I mean, I'm a fan of his. And John Bradley, who played Sam, I think his name is Sam, in Game of Thrones, was great. And of course, Halle Berry is doing Halle Berry. So all that was good. Wow. I just looked up Donald Sutherland, and he is still alive. That blows my mind. I could have swore to God he died like 2 years ago, but I guess not. Huh. Still kicking it, still making movies at 86. Good for him. I didn't like Michael Pena in the movie, but I don't think you're supposed to. But I don't know. I felt like they tried to put too much in the movie because you had the whole disaster thing going on, and then there was like a huge family dynamic, and they really focused on that. But then they I don't think they could find a good balance of family drama and space drama, so it was all just like a bit rushed, and you didn't really have time to like feel engaged in either of those storylines. Like, I didn't really care that Patrick Wilson's family didn't get along, or that his son was like getting in trouble, because it was just so rushed. You don't have time to build those like feelings for the characters, so I didn't really care. And it was the same with Halle Berry. Like, they were like, oh, she's divorced now, and I was like, I don't care. Like, I literally know nothing about her husband or her child or her career or the reason behind why they got divorced. Like, they don't share any of that, so like, I don't care. You know, they could still be married and I'd still not care. So I think they struggled with like pacing and timing a little bit in the movie, but overall, like, if you're looking for a fun like space drama disaster film, Moonfall is fine. Unlike Cloudy Mountain, I will not be watching it again. Once was more than enough for me. So that's where I'm going to leave that. But I would recommend watching both of them. And when it comes to knitting needles, I would say Moonfall, 5 out of 5 knitting needles. It's the perfect movie to knit to because you don't really have to pay attention. Cloudy Mountain, I will give 3.5 out of 5 knitting needles, because even though it is in another language, you can still follow along with what's going on because it has the same beats as like every disaster movie, that you can let your attention drift a little bit and still know what's happening. So those are my thoughts on Cloudy Mountain and Moonfall. Let me know what you guys think of both of those movies. All right, bye.